जैसा कि आप देख सकते हैं इस वक्त मैं खड़ा हूँ INS इम्फाल के डेक पे, जो आज कमीशन हो चुकी है भारतीय नौसेना में। INS इम्फाल की कई सारी विशेषताएं और खूबियां हैं, जैसे कि मैं आप सभी को बताना चाहता हूँ। प्रोजेक्ट 15B के तहत विशाखापट्टनम क्लास के तहत बनी ये स्टेल्थ मिसाइल डिस्ट्रॉयर उन डिस्ट्रॉयर्स में शुमार होती हैं जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी और सबसे घातक डिस्ट्रॉयर्स कहलाई जाती हैं। INS इम्फाल में कई सारी चीज़ें ऐसी अकोमोडेट की गई हैं जो भारतीय नौसेना के लिए सबसे पहले अफेयर्स बन चुके हैं, जैसे कि डिज़ाइनिंग फेज से ही INS इम्फाल में एक सेपरेट लेडी ऑफिसर्स के लिए मेस का निर्माण किया गया है, जो आज से पहले किसी और शिप में नहीं किया गया है। हालांकि दूसरी शिप्स में कुछ चेंजेस किए गए, अमेंडमेंट्स किए गए, लेकिन डिज़ाइनिंग फेज से ही INS इम्फाल में ये प्रोविज़न बना दिया गया था। आप सभी को मैं ये भी बताना चाहता हूँ कि INS इम्फाल पहली ऐसी भारतीय नौसेना की डिस्ट्रॉयर है जो सबसे कम पीरियड ऑफ टाइम में बन के तैयार हुई है, राइट फ्रॉम द कील लेइंग टू द डिलीवरी एंड कमिशनिंग ऑफ द शिप। ये बहुत कम समय में, सबसे कम समय में ये शिप बनके तैयार हो चुकी है सर्विस के लिए। जनरली जब ऐसी कोई डिस्ट्रॉयर या फ्रिगेट बनाई जाती है 10 से 12 साल का टाइम लग जाता है, लेकिन INS इम्फाल ने 6 से 7 साल के ही समय में, बहुत ही शॉर्ट स्पैन में, इस एक कह सकते हैं हमें ये एक लैंडमार्क अचीवमेंट को इसने अकम्प्लिश किया, इसने अचीव करा है। इस वक्त हम जिस सेक्शन में हैं INS इम्फाल के, वो ये बताता है कि ये डिस्ट्रॉयर किन वेपन्स और सेंसर्स से लैस है। इस वक्त हम मौजूद हैं ब्रह्मोस डेक पर और हम सर से रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि वो हमें बताएं कि किस वेपन से, कौन सी सरफेस टू सरफेस मिसाइल्स, कौन सी सरफेस टू एयर मिसाइल्स से INS इम्फाल लैस है। सर आप हमें प्लीज़ बताइए एंड व्यूअर्स को बताइए कि कौन से यहाँ पे प्राइमरी वेपनरी INS इम्फाल की क्या है।
ठीक है, यहाँ की जैसे आप देख सकते हैं ये ब्रह्मोस टू ब्रह्मोस जो कि सरफेस टू सरफेस मिसाइल है, एंड दिस शिप इज इक्विप्ड टू फायर एक्सटेंडेड रेंज ब्रह्मोस। एंड पिछले ही महीने 21 नवंबर 23 को हमने सक्सेसफुल फायरिंग करी थी, एंड ये पहली दफ़ा हुआ है इंडियन नेवी के हिस्ट्री में जहाँ शिप ने कमिश्निंग के 1 महीने पहले ब्रह्मोस जो कि प्राइमरी वेपन है शिप का, फायर करा एंड सक्सेसफुल ट्रायल्स कंप्लीट करे। और पीछे ले जाते हुए ये जो आप देख रहे हैं डेक पर फिटेड है, ये है MRSAM, मतलब मीडियम रेंज सरफेस टू एयर मिसाइल, और या बराक 8 जिसको कहा जाता है। ये सारे एरियल टारगेट जो कि एयरक्राफ्ट, मिसाइल या UAV को शूट डाउन कर सकता है एंड उनको एंगेज करा जा सकता है। पीछे ले जाते हुए जो आप देख रहे हैं वो है इंडिजीनियस रॉकेट लॉन्चर जो कि MS LNT के द्वारा बिल्ड करा गया है, और ये दुश्मन की पनडुब्बी के अगेंस्ट अर्जेंट अटैक कैरी आउट करा जा सकता है। और ऊपर जो आप रडार देख रहे हैं जो घूम रहा है वो है सरफेस सर्वेलेंस रडार। इसकी खूबी ये है कि ये लॉन्ग रेंज या एक्सटेंडेड रेंजेस इंक्लूडिंग ओवर द होराइजन टारगेट्स की इन्फॉर्मेशन हमें देता है, जिसके कारण हम अपना सिचुएशनल अवेयरनेस इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं। और सबसे ऊपरी सतह में अगर देखें जो कि मेन रडार है इस शिप का, जो कि कोलकाता क्लास और विशाखापट्टनम क्लास का मेन रडार है, जिसको हम MF स्टार बोलते हैं या मल्टी फंक्शन सर्वेलेंस एंड थ्रेट अलर्ट रडार। इसकी खूबी ये है कि ये एक्सटेंडेड रेंजेस तक हमें एयर सर्वेलेंस प्रदान करता है, एंड इसके द्वारा हम MRSAM जो कि बराक 8 और अपनी गन्स जो कि मीडियम रेंज गन SRGM और AK-630 को भी फायर कर सकते हैं।
सर जैसा कि हम जानते हैं कि कोलकाता क्लास का एक डेरिवेटिव है INS इम्फाल, और अगर हम प्रोजेक्ट 15B यानी कि प्रोजेक्ट 15 ब्रावो की अगर बात करें तो दुनिया की सबसे घातक और सबसे बड़ी डिस्ट्रॉयर्स में इनका नाम शुमार होता है। INS इम्फाल की सबसे ज़्यादा विशेषताओं की या खूबियों की बात करें जो इसे विशाखापट्टनम क्लास से बहुत भिन्न कर देती है, जो अभी तक हमारी 2 शिप्स जो है वो ऑलरेडी कमीशन हो चुकी है, दैट इज़ INS विशाखापट्टनम एंड INS मोरमुगांव। INS इम्फाल के बाद में INS सूरत जो है वो कमीशन होगी। तो INS इम्फाल इन सबसे भिन्न या डिस्टिंक्ट कैसे है, आप अगर बता सकें।
इसके बारे में अगर कोलकाता क्लास या प्रोजेक्ट 15 अल्फा से अगर हम कंपेयर करें तो विद रिगार्ड्स टू दैट इंडिजिनियस परसेंटेज ऑन कोलकाता क्लास 62% था, और हमने यहाँ 75% इंडिजिनाइजेशन अचीव कर लिया है। दैट इज़ इन लाइन विद CNS विजन ऑफ अचीविंग 100% इंडिजिनाइजेशन बाय 2047, जिसके लिए हम सतर्क हैं। एंड इसके अलावा विशाखापट्टनम और मोरमुगांव से कंपेयर करें इस एस्पेक्ट में, हमने ब्रह्मोस मिसाइल भी कमिश्निंग के पहले प्रूव कर दिए, जो कि एक मेजर पोटेंट वेपन है इस शिप का, जिससे हम सरफेस टू सरफेस एंगेजमेंट दैट शिप्स एज वेल एज लैंड अटैक रोल में यूज़ करा जा सकता है. So in that regards, when this ship gets commissioned, this would be the most potent ship to get commissioned, wherein it has proved its major weapon, that is BrahMos.
अगर हम कॉम्बैट कंसोल्स और सोनार की बात करें, सो यहाँ पे INS इम्फाल कैसे स्टैंड आउट करता है?
सोनार के बारे में बात करें तो यहाँ हमसा NG सोनार लगा हुआ है, जो कि दुश्मन की पनडुब्बी को एक्सटेंडेड रेंजेस पर ट्रैक करा जा सकता है एंड उनके ऊपर देर आफ्टर एंगेजमेंट करा जा सकता है यूजिंग द इंडिजिनियस रॉकेट लॉन्चर या ITTL, जो कि इंडिजिनियस टॉर्पेडो ट्यूब लॉन्चर्स हैं, जो कि इंडिजिनियसली LNT के द्वारा डेवलप करे गए. एंड ये सारे जो वेपन्स एंड सेंसर्स के बारे में जिस मैंने जो एक्सप्लेन करा, ये सारे इंटीग्रेट होते हैं कॉम्बैट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम में. एंड कॉम्बैट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम improves our situational awareness, and since all the sensors are getting integrated to the combat management system, overall situational awareness हमारी शिप का बहुत improve करा जाता है. and the same picture can be shared with बाकी ships in formation.
सबसे अहम जो बिट होता है किसी भी शिप का, चाहे कि वो कोई कार्गो शिप हो या इंडियन नेवी की कोई वेसल हो, इंजन्स प्ले अ वेरी बिग और द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट, इफ आई मस्ट से सो अगर हम इंजन्स की बात करें, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, यूक्रेनियन इंजन्स इसमें हमने अकोमोडेट करवाए हैं. सो उसके बारे में आप कुछ बता सकते हैं?
ये यूक्रेनियन यहाँ जो इंजन्स हैं उनको गैस टर्बाइंस बोलते हैं. तो इस शिप में 4 गैस टर्बाइंस हैं. एंड हालांकि स्पीड की बात करें, दिस शिप इज़ वेल पॉइज्ड टू अचीव स्पीड इन एक्सेस ऑफ 30 नॉट्स. तो हमारे ट्रायल्स के सामने हमने 33.7 नॉट्स अचीव करा था, विच इज़ अ यूनिक अचीवमेंट फॉर द शिप.
थैंक यू सर. अब हम INS इम्फाल के ब्रिज की तरफ प्रस्थान कर रहे हैं, आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, आपको लेकर के चलते हैं. और INS इम्फाल ये कोई एक छोटी शिप नहीं है, छोटा डिस्ट्रॉयर नहीं है. जैसा कि ये इस वक्त हम VIP लॉबी में हैं, जैसे कि चौहान सर ने इस वक्त हमें बताया है. और धीरे धीरे बढ़ते हुए अब हम ये पूरा मुआयना कर सकते हैं आप INS इम्फाल का. जैसा कि आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं कि कील लेइंग से लेके लॉन्च से लेके डिलीवरी तक INS इम्फाल वो पहली शिप है भारतीय नौसेना की जिसने सबसे कम टाइम में अपना पूरा कंस्ट्रक्शन राइट फ्रॉम कील लेइंग टू डिलीवरी ये कंप्लीट करा है. और आप सभी को बता दूं कि ये पहली ऐसी नौसेना की शिप है जिसने कमिश्निंग से पहले ही ब्रह्मोस को टेस्ट फायर कर दिया था. और ये एक बड़ा ही लैंडमार्क इवेंट है. अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं ब्रिज की तरफ. क्रेस्ट एंड लोगोस आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं INS इम्फाल के. और जैसे कि हमें कैप्टन ने पहले ही बताया है, P-15B क्लास की जो शिप्स हैं ये दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी और सबसे घातक डिस्ट्रॉयर्स में से एक आते हैं. तो ये हमारा एक प्रिविलेज है कि हम ऐसी शिप का पूरा मुआयना कर रहे हैं. और ये पहली बार ऐसा भी हो रहा है जहाँ पे ये सारे इंटरनल कॉरिडोर्स और आपको सेक्शंस बहुत डिटेल से बताए जा रहे हैं. सो अब हम बढ़ेंगे ब्रिज की तरफ से. जी, इस वक्त हम मौजूद है INS इम्फाल के ब्रिज सेक्शन में. आप सभी को बता दूं, ब्रिज सेक्शन एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाता है किसी भी नेवल शिप के लिए. और आज हमारे सौभाग्य है कि अंशु सर हमारे साथ हैं जो हमें एक प्रॉपर ब्रीफिंग देंगे और हम एक टूर कराएंगे इस ब्रिज का, ताकि हमें सारे EW, सारे सेंसर्स, सारे टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट्स जिससे ये शिप लेस है उसके बारे में ठीक जानकारी मिल सके. थैंक यू सो मच सर, इट्स अ प्रिविलेज टू बी विथ यू. सो इफ़ यू कुड गाइड आवर व्यूअर्स अबाउट द ब्रिज ऑफ INS इम्फाल.
So this bridge is basically primarily used for the navigation of the ship. We have various navigational, communication and command systems that are available throughout the bridge, which enables the officer of the watch, who is holding the charge of the ship, that is the safety of the ship, to take decisions, maneuver the ships, advise captain, take his approval and execute the internal organization as well as the various functions that are required by an operational warship. So once we'll just go around. The panel that you see here is the steering post. This is from where the quartermaster steers the ship. The officer of the watch standing here will give order whether the ship has to move to one side or the other, and accordingly the direction of the ship can be altered using the wheel that is on the steering post. Moving around, this is the navigational equipment that are available. This is the electronic chart display information system, that is the ECDIS, which is nothing but the electronic version of the paper chart that we use. And it has all the navigational tool available for the movement of the ship from one place to another. This is the radar where we track the other vessels, the other contacts that we encounter at sea, and this is primarily used for anti-collision, which gives us the course and speed of the other vessels, and we determine what alteration we should do to avoid colliding with them. Moving on, we can see the conning system available here. This conning system is basically used for the internal communication within the ship. So if an officer of the watch in bridge has to speak to different posts, say machinery control post, ops room, he will pick up the call and communicate with them directly. That part of the bridge is basically used for the external communication. When the officer has to speak to another ship or say the shore authority, the external communication equipment are available for him to be used.
So this brings me to a very, I would say, intriguing point. Now in the 21st era, you know, there is less of weapons of mass destruction, more of other warfares, like we have information warfare and electronic warfare. So how does you see Imphal taking, you know, a stand here in terms of electronic warfare?
So we have very advanced electronic suite available in our ship in terms of all the three domains which are there in the electronic warfare. However, when you come to bridge, so bridge is a function where the ship is navigated and maneuvered. When it comes to the warfare part, whether we are executing anti-air, anti-surface, anti-submarine or the electronic warfare, the fourth domain, we execute all those functions from the offshore.
किसी भी वॉरशिप में जब किसी तरीके का इम्पैक्ट होता है, से फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मिसाइल ने हिट करा हो या क्रैश हुआ हो, कोई कोलिजन हुआ हो, तो उसे कंट्रोल करता है डैमेज कंट्रोल हेडक्वार्टर्स। चलिए आप सभी को लेके चलते हैं INS इम्फाल के एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण सेक्शन की तरफ, जो किसी भी इम्पैक्ट, किसी भी तरीके के कोलिजन के होने के बाद उससे डील करने के लिए पूरी तरीके से सक्षम है। यहाँ पर हम इस वक्त आ चुके हैं डैमेज कंट्रोल हेडक्वार्टर्स के सेक्शन में, और हमें राजीव सर गाइड करेंगे कि ये सेक्शन में किस किस तरीके की टेक्नोलॉजीज़ से INS इम्फाल लैस है और किस तरीके से कोलिजन्स और किसी भी तरीके के इम्पैक्ट से ये डील करता है। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर टाइम सर, एंड इफ़ यू कैन गिव आवर व्यूअर्स अ ब्रीफ अबाउट द डैमेज कंट्रोल हेडक्वार्टर्स।
Good morning, I am Lieutenant Commander Rajiv. I am posted as NBCDO on board. The present compartment which we are standing is known as Damage Control Headquarters. As the name suggests, this compartment is used for damage control. Whatever indication, whatever damage has happened on board, this is the first compartment which will come to know about any damage. For example, if you say the biggest problems, hurdles which we face when we are ashore are the fire and flooding which can happen on board. So we have about 500 fire detector sensors and about 200 flood sensors divided all over the ship, and all that feedback comes to this center indication panel which you can see. So all these panels which you can look around, these are used for monitoring and operating purpose. Additionally, the major compartments or the high risk compartments, you can say, like the ammunition stores and the machinery compartments, are fitted with dedicated major firefighting equipments which can be operated and monitored from here. Apart from that, we have about 150 portable extinguishers and 120 about CO2 extinguishers which are positioned throughout the ship, which can be used for firefighting. We have a robust organization of officers and sailors who would look after the ship. In case of any eventuality, you have a DCPW who mans this compartment 24/7, 365, and the team takes care after that in case of any eventuality.
And what is the rotational shifts of the in charge officers?
These in charges shift every 4 hours. We have a watch system wherein after every 4 hours the team is rotated so that everybody is relaxed and is prepared well for his next watch.
So you mentioned that flooding and deck fires, this is something that any warship or any ship generally faces. So if you could enlighten us with what are the potential threats or the potential reasons which, you know, creates such kind of issues?
There are, we can take two scenarios. For example, say if we are in a war scenario, so this fire or flooding can happen because of enemy attack on the ship, because of missile hit, and flooding can happen because of a submarine hitting a torpedo to our ship. So the underwater hull will get damaged and the ship might get flooded. So these are the two probable causes when we are in war. And the second scenario we can take is for say when we are in peace, when we are in harbour or we are sailing in peace. So that time also the damage can happen on board. Since you can see we have about hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of wire running throughout the ship. There are electrical connections, there is fuel, there is high temperatures all around the ship. So these are the probable causes which causes fire or flooding even in peacetime. So to cater for these eventualities, this damage control headquarters is very important.
Thank you very much for your input, sir.
Thank you so much.
अब हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं INS इम्फाल के मशीनरी कंट्रोल रूम की तरफ। कैसे ये मशीनरी कंट्रोल रूम ऑपरेट करता है, इसकी क्या ड्यूटीज़ और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ आती हैं इस सेक्शन पर, और किन इश्यूज़ को ये एड्रेस करता है, हम जानेंगे। सो सर, हमें आज गाइड करने वाले हैं. Salik sir will be guiding us and briefing us about the MCR. So it's a privilege to be with you, sir. If you could guide our dear viewers and brief us about the MCR.
Good morning to you all. This is the machinery control room, as we say in short for MCR. For a ship, it's like a heart of the ship, because all the machineries for the propulsion, power generation, and all the auxiliaries which is spread throughout the ship, everything is controlled from here. Our watchkeepers are always manning this position, whether it is at sea, at harbour, because right now this is not just a metal structure or some kind of thing.
Right.
It is moving a smart city, as you can say. That we generate our own power, we generate our own drinking water, 120 tons per day. That is the freshwater generating capacity of the ship.
Okay.
And the 4 gas turbines develop power to 64,000 horsepower.
Okay.
Because if we move to the full speed, 270 RPM, the 2 propellers generate enough thrust. A ship can go beyond 30 knots. Knots
Right.
is the terminology which
Yes.
we define for the speed in water. Got 4 like gas turbine generators, 1 megawatt diesel alternator. Ship is also MARPOL compliant ship, so
Okay.
we don't pollute the marine environment. The incinerators, OWS, and the bilge pumps are highly competent for those things. Imphal carries the fuel for powering of the engines, diesel alternators. Along with that, we carry helicopters. For that also, we are carrying the fuel along with us. And you can see these all the different sections. This is the large screen display. This is a CCTV console. Those are the propulsion controls. There's the throttle washer. It generally operates all the 4 gas turbines. Right now we are at harbour, so we are not moving. That's
Okay.
why this is the like 2 gas turbines. So from here the watchkeepers maintain the throttles as per the whatever requirement is there from the bridge. Bridge
Right.
are the eyes of the ship. They see, they take command and they order us. But what is the speed requirement? So from here we follow. A lot of parameters are there. These are technically qualified people who have been trained by OEM, cross-trained by the inter-department training, and thereafter they are only authorized to sit here and operate the machine.
Alright.
2 gas turbines operate here, 2 operates from that side.
Alright.
This is the main propulsion. One of the specific thing is that this whole control system, it's an integrated platform management
Correct.
system. Designed and developed by indigenously by L&T as part of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So that has been a big boost to Navy. That now we are self-competent and reliance in making a
Correct.
control system ourselves.
So under the class of INS, under the class of Visakhapatnam, how does Imphal stands out when it comes to the MCR from the other ships that have already been commissioned and INS Surya that is going to be commissioned now?
Right. See, whenever there is a shipbuilding, there is always a progressive and
Right.
everything. What we learned from the previous 2 ships, some of the issues, some of the software updation, everything that has been undertaken here in part. So we are much more advanced compared to if you come to Visakhapatnam and Marmoko in terms of control system, also in terms of machineries design, system pipelines, because it's all a learning process. From
Correct.
this ship to the next ship, it again will be a lot of learning, which MDL will get to know from the ship staff. Will be
Right.
raising design issues, and progressively that will be implemented in the subsequent ship.
Right.
So that is always a learning process. As a whole, ship staff who have been there since last 8 to 9 months, we have been along with people and guiding them as per the naval latest policies, naval policies, defense standards, that whatever design modification has to be done, that has been incorporated in the ship.
Highly obliged, sir. Thank you so much. जैसे आपने MCR देखा जो था मशीनरी कंट्रोल रूम विच इज़ नोन एज द हार्ट ऑफ द शिप, तो INS इम्फाल की सेहत जैसे ज़रूरी है वैसे यहाँ के ऑफिसर्स एंड जो ऑन बोर्ड हैं क्रू मेंबर्स उनकी सेहत भी उतनी ज़रूरी है. तो अब हम आपको लेके चल रहे हैं सिक बे की तरफ एंड we are obliged to have Chaitanya sir who would be guiding us and briefing us through the sick bay. So thank you very much for your time, sir, and if you could guide our viewers through the sick bay.
So as you can see here, we have a 2-bedded sick bay. हमारे पास 2 बेड हैं यहाँ पर. एक एडवांस्ड ऑपरेशन थिएटर है. हम यहाँ पर सारे मेडिकल और सारे सर्जिकल इमरजेंसीज का ट्रीटमेंट कर सकते हैं.
Alright.
हमारे पास सारे मेडिकल इक्विपमेंट्स हैं जो क्रिटिकल लाइफ सेविंग मेडिकल इक्विपमेंट्स जस्ट लाइक डिफिब्रिलेटर्स, multi-para monitors, oxygen concentrators. We have medicines for about 6 to 8 months. And इसके अलावा हमारे पास अभी रिसेंटली हमने इंटीग्रेट किया है टेली मेडिसिन, जिससे हम एट सी वी कैन लिंक टू आवर टर्शरी केयर हॉस्पिटल्स और उनका जो हमारे सुपर स्पेशलिस्ट डॉक्टर्स वहाँ बैठे हैं उनका ओपिनियन लेकर वी कैन हेल्प आवर पेशेंट्स एंड गिव द बेस्ट ट्रीटमेंट to our men and women.
So how does INS Imphal's sick bay is stands out or is distinct from those which have been already commissioned in the Visakhapatnam class?
So the Visakhapatnam class sick bays are all the structural design is the same. We have just further as medical science gets better,
Right.
The quality of equipments get better, and in addition to that, our telemedicine is what we are very proud of.
Okay.
Which the medical fraternity of the Indian Navy is very proud of.
Okay.
And now that gives us a satellite link directly with our tertiary care hospital, which is Ashwini.
Alright.
And we have a direct one-to-one link with them, even whichever sea we are in or however far we are from land.
Thank you so
So
much for
that's-
that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
इस वक्त हम खड़े हैं INS इम्फाल के स्विच बोर्ड सेक्शन में, यानी कि कहा जाए कि ये INS इम्फाल का पावर हाउस है। अक्रॉस द शिप जो भी पावर चाहिए होती है शिप को, वो यहाँ से रूटेड है। हम जानेंगे इसके बारे में और किस तरीके से ये सेक्शन ऑपरेट करता है, इसकी क्या प्राइमरी ड्यूटीज़ हैं और कैसे पूरी शिप को ये पावर जनरेट करके प्रोवाइड करता है। हमारे साथ तुषार सर हैं एंड वी आर हाईली ऑब्लिज्ड टू हैव योर प्रेजेंस सर। इफ़ यू कुड गाइड आवर व्यूअर्स थ्रू द स्विच बोर्ड ऑफ INS इम्फाल।
So this is the switchboard of the ship. All the power supply, generation, distribution, monitoring and control happens from this place.
ऑलराइट।
Whenever you want to fire any weapon sensor, all the supplies are routed from this place. We have total capacity of 4.6 megawatt,
ओके।
which is powered through 5 generators on board. For better appreciation, this is equal to the amount of power required for Colaba sub area for one day.
Okay.
So technically we can power Colaba sub area for one day from ship generators. At sea, all the load requirements which are there are met from this place. This is the console which is used to monitor the power generation and the distribution to all systems.
ऑलराइट।
We have a cable run of more than 17 kilometers.
ओके।
That amounts to all weapons, all sensors, propulsion, everything which has a cable running from here amounts to more than 17 kilometers.
Now if you could just give us a brief
Yeah.
tour
So
of the
I'll
section.
just show you around. Ship generators, when they
Right.
produce the supply, comes to these panels.
Okay.
From here, this is the main supply panel. From here, it is routed through these breakers
ऑलराइट।
to subsequent weapons and system. You can see all these specific buttons which are there. These are for individual weapon sensors.
Right. So they're bifurcated into their as per the tasks and individual. All right. So let it be the operation of the main gun, the main battery, or the launching of BrahMos or barrack missiles. Everything
is
gets controlled
supplied
from
from here, sir.
All right. जैसे कि हमने पहले बताया कि INS इम्फाल पहली ऐसी भारतीय नौसेना की शिप है जहां पर अलग से प्रोविजंस किए गए हैं लेडी ऑफिसर्स के लिए, इनके लिए डेडिकेटेड मेस है और क्या क्या प्रोविजंस है आज हम देखेंगे। सबसे पहले आपको लेके चलना चाहेंगे हम गैली में, जो शिप की गैली है। एक लाइटर नोट पे जैसे कहते हैं कि भोजन बिना भजन ना हो गोपाला, सो वैसे ही हम आज यहाँ आए हैं INS इम्फाल के गैली में। वी हैव सब लेफ्टिनेंट अंजलि विद अस हु विल बी गाइडिंग अस थ्रू द गैली एंड द लेडी ऑफिसर्स मेस। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर हैविंग अस टुडे मैम। कैन यू प्लीज गाइड द व्यूअर्स थ्रू द गैली?
So our ship's galley is the first ever advanced galley which is made in Indian Navy. Here we have all top-notch equipments which are indigenous. We are using cutting-edge cooking methods and also automation in the hygienic condition to maintain that. हमारी galley around 350 personals से ज़्यादा को 3 meals a day including tea and snacks twice a day that can provide. Some of the equipments that are well furnished here is rice boiler is there, combi
Okay.
steamer, tilting frying pan and griddle plates. So our focus is to make bit more as a smart galley and with less minimal use of oil.
Okay.
So earlier in other ships we have traditional usage of deep fat fryers which requires a lot of oil, but here we have tilting frying pans and griddle plate as I mentioned, so that oil usage will be less. Similarly, we have a setup of chapati making machine which can provide around 2000 chapatis in a day very easily.
Okay.
Earlier this was used with a lot of human capital which was getting used and that was a tedious job. But with hamari setup say, I guess it is a very time saving as well as workforce saving as well.
All right.
Apart from that, we have garbage disposal units which is automatic so that the labor requirements will also be less. The main focus is to provide the variety, quality in preparation of the food, but also to consider in reduction of the human capital so that कम से कम लोगों में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा output हमें मिल सके.
Right.
But as well as that, we also need to make sure for the safety.
Correct.
So we have a state-of-the-art automatic fully galley firefighting system which is installed here. so that because our stars जो हमारे chefs हैं जो यहाँ पे 10 से 12 घंटे का काम करते हैं, to ensure their safety is also our responsibility.
Correct.
So the only aim what we are having with us is to carry forward the tradition of Make in India by this entire galley in the INS Imphal.
Correct. So it caters to both efficiency in time and cost saving.
Yes.
All right. And you know, the citizens, the laymen, they generally have this query of what is, you know, they ask कि खाने के लिए नेवी को कितना टाइम मिलता है, because in peace time it is quite different from war scenarios. So if you could just brief us about that as well.
Usually we have promulgated timings like that I cannot mention right now.
Okay.
We have certain like 1 hour, 1.5 hours it is given in a daily routine.
Okay.
But whenever it's ops, we have a call known things as action messing, in which people will be manning their own post because we cannot leave our post from the when
Right.
it's an operational state. That time we have people who will be providing them food during that time directly to their positions.
Okay.
So that there will be a cycle so that some people can come and eat, some people can be on duty. It will be a rotational basis
Right.
with minimal like as fast as they could. So
Get done with the.
Yeah.
All right. Now we can move ahead. If you could show us the lady officers mess, which is one of the I would say key aspects of INS Imphal. And since this destroyer under Project 15B stands as the first Indian naval ship to have a separate provision for the lady officers as well. So now we have entered the lady officers mess. Right from the designing stage ये section बहुत अच्छी तरीके से डिज़ाइन किया गया था. जो दूसरी ships हैं उनमें there have been amendments and changes made later on, but this particular mess that you see now, further briefing and further guidance by ma'am herself. Yes.
So this is first time which is happening that in the design phase itself, INS Imphal, we have a specific dedicated space for accommodation space for our women sailors. Basically the moment this मुहिम we can say or a पहल जो हमारी Indian government ने की with the Agniveers. So soon we will be having Agniveers, women Agniveers also on board our ship. So our Imphal is ready with around 12 bunks. This is a 12 bunks mess with attached bathrooms. Apart from that, we also have a 8 bunk specific accommodation for women officers as well.
All right.
So in total right now 20 ladies can be accommodated, 20 women can be accommodated in INS Imphal. But in future we want it should increase as well. The count will increase. We are ready to get that thing ongoing as well. We also, as I mentioned, we have attached bathrooms with all these messes. Attached bathrooms are there so that their privacy and dignity can be maintained, which is very important for their own safety as well and their comfortability for that as well. So I think this positive step which has been taken will definitely boost to deploy more and more number of women on board in warship front lines and any other.
And the results are significant so far.
Yes, that is.
Thank you so much for your time and input, ma'am. As the Indian Navy stands on the glorious day of the commissioning of INS Imphal, we are privileged to have Captain Kamal Chaudhary, who is the commanding officer of INS Imphal today. Sir, thank you so much for your time today, and we would like you to inform or guide the viewers about why the name Imphal.
Imphal, okay. The Indian Navy names its warships as per a policy. The Indian Navy's biggest warships, the destroyers, are named after important cities of this country. So you would be aware, in the late 90s we commissioned 3 warships. Late 90s, early 2000s we commissioned 3 warships under Project 15. They were called the INS Delhi, INS Mysore and INS Mumbai. In fact, Delhi and Mysore were we had ships by the names of Delhi and Mysore, which were the largest warships in the Navy in the 50s and 60s. Soon after independence. And then in the previous decade, we commissioned 3 warships by the name of INS Kolkata, INS Kochi and INS Chennai. And now under Project 15 Bravo, we have commissioned 2 ships already, Visakhapatnam and Mazagon. We are the 3rd ship, to be followed by Surat. Now the 4 ships of the Project 15 Bravo are named after 4 important cities in 4 corners of the country. So if you see, Visakhapatnam is on the east coast, you have Mazagon on the west coast, you have Imphal in the northeast, in one of the easternmost parts of the country, and you have Surat, which is on the westernmost part of India. So we have 4 different cities, 4 important cities from 4 different parts of the country, and in a way, naming a ship with the name of a city kind of acknowledges the contribution, the linkage between that region and that city. So in a way, I would say naming or commissioning the ship as INS Imphal acknowledges the contribution of the northeastern region, the state of Manipur, and the city of Imphal to India's sovereignty, security and prosperity.
That goes undoubtedly, sir. As you mentioned about Project 15 Bravo, if I'm not mistaken, these are one of the largest and the deadliest ships across the globe. India now in possession of a destroyer like INS Imphal, along with many nuances that the Indian Navy witnesses for the first time, like a separate lady officers mess and several other provisions that have been made. How is INS Imphal standing out from the other ships that have been commissioned under Visakhapatnam class, and what is the significance that it holds for the entirety of Navy?
I would say capability wise, INS Imphal is the same, or it has same capabilities as INS Visakhapatnam and Mazagon. They are ships of the same class. These are ships which are the largest and among the most advanced destroyers, not only of the Indian Navy but across the world. So it's a significant achievement for the Navy and for Mazagon Docks and for India to be inducting and to be building and to be inducting ships of this capability, this size. And what is a matter of pride is the percentage of indigenization on board these ships of 15 Bravo. We have 75% indigenization, which is the highest so far for ships of this size, and this percentage is only increasing with every project, with every ship, with every year. And most of the weapons and sensors on the ship are either made in India totally, or made by Indian companies in collaboration with reputed international OEMs from friendly countries. And these are cutting edge technologies, and it definitely adds, this is a potent addition. Imphal is a potent addition to the Indian Navy's capability, and definitely the country's maritime capability, and it will enhance the capability of the Indian Navy to protect our country's maritime interests.
So, as we are aware that INS Imphal is equipped with Barrack 8 missiles, with BrahMos missile and Varunastra. But when it comes to futuristic warfare, when we talk about electronic warfare or communication warfare, how equipped is INS Imphal, if you could guide our viewers on that?
See, Imphal is a multi-mission destroyer. It is capable of executing warfare across multiple domains. Like you mentioned, BrahMos, this is a surface weapon. We can fire BrahMos at hundreds of targets, hundreds of kilometers away, both against warships as well as against land targets. The medium range SAM, the Barrack 8, is an air defense weapon, an anti-air weapon. It can take on any threat, any air threat, so it can be used defensively as well as offensively. Then for anti-submarine, we have Varunastra, we have torpedoes, Varunastra, as well as anti-submarine rockets. Now you mentioned about electronic warfare. Now we have advanced electronic warfare systems called Shakti and Nayan, which are indigenous, and they cover the entire expected spectrum of emissions, emissions which you expect at sea. They cover that, and they are very, very advanced system, cutting edge technologies, designed, built in India. So this ship, and we have two helicopters which further enhance our capability. Our multi-mission capabilities get further amplified when you have two helicopters, two multi-mission helicopters, multi-role helicopters on your deck. So this is a formidable fortress, moving fortress at sea.
Indeed, sir. Thank you so much for your time and inputs, and that was Captain Kamal with us. This is Vaibhav Agrawal from Business Upturn Asia with camera person Matika Shukla.